More, Laura Ingraham, host of the Ingraham Angle, which debuts here on Fox on October 30th at 10 p.m., and the author also of the new book, Billionaire at the Barricades, The Populist Revolution, From Reagan to Trump. Laura, good evening. Good to see you tonight.
Hey, Martha, good to see you.
So tell me about your reaction to this story. You know, you wonder about what's going on in that room, because obviously there was somebody in that room that reported this to someone at NBC. So their interpretation of what was discussed and what the president said was quite different from what he says it was.
Yeah, 3.5 months later.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of funny? On the heels of the Bob Corker story, where he goes to the New York Times and says, basically, that Trump is bringing us to the brink of World War III. Now, that's the puzzle. It fits as a perfect corollary to the old establishment GOP senator calling into question the judgment and the poise and the knowledge of Donald Trump. And then this comes, and it's like clockwork. This is a hit job. It was done to amplify Corker and again plant seeds in the minds of the American public that we have a president who's not really tethered to reality, that doesn't really know what's going on. And Martha, let me just say that I know for a fact that when Donald Trump goes into meetings on the issues, you know, that I care about, trade and immigration especially, he is brutal and questioning everyone in that meeting, whether it's the trade rep or whether it's the commerce secretary or everybody in between. He is engaged. He asks questions, and sometimes they're questions that, you know, certainly I wouldn't know the answer to, and people who are new to politics would know the answer to. There's nothing wrong with that. He wants us to be the strongest, the best, the most powerful nation on the face of the earth, on all levels. And so he says he didn't say it. He says he wants us to be the strongest and the biggest. And I think a lot of journalists hear that and they think they're horrified that how could Donald Trump ask any questions about that? And they're always going to paint it in the worst possible light. But this is more Washington intrigue. And I don't think most Americans are paying much attention to it.
Well, on the cover of your book, when you talk about the barricades, MSNBC is on there, the Washington Post is on there. So these are exactly the kind of barricades. And you know and I know that this is not going to change because there's always going to be someone in that room, whether it's, you know, the highest level national security meeting or elsewhere, who's going to walk out of that room and say that he didn't get it, that he wasn't up to speed, that, you know, to instill that bit of fear in people's minds that says he's not up to the job. So on top of doing the job, he's got to constantly battle that at 92% negative story rate in the press. On top of the presidency, it's another heavy weight to bear.
You hit the nail on the head, Martha. The leaks that have plagued this administration from even before he was inaugurated continue to plague him now. They've done a better job at plugging them. But as president, you should feel like you can go into a meeting like this and be frank and ask questions. And apparently, he can't trust the people in the room.
Were you a Girl Scout?
I was a Bluebird, which I don't think exists anymore. It was like a campfire girl, which I don't even think exists.
I bet there was a very cute uniform that went along with that. I was a brownie. I lasted for 2 years in the brownies. But what do you think about the fact that the Boy Scouts, as Britt Hume said, you know, the Boy Scouts are not the Boy Scouts anymore, apparently.
Yeah, you have to. Everybody is allowed into certain activities, I guess. I mean, it's the tyranny of political correctness. It's another reason why Trump won. I think people are tired of this. Boys should be able to have a boys' club. Girls should be able to have a girls' club. And if they want to have a club where boys and girls are doing activities together, that's fine too. But this is just more madness. And I think most parents are tired of it. Most people are tired of it. And it's a very small, radical group of gender benders out there in the culture who want to say there's no difference between boys and girls.
It's sort of the constant degenderification of the country, that anything that designates boys and girls or men and women is becoming taboo.
Hey, Martha, I have a question for you. When you go to a nail salon, if you do go to a nail salon, do you like men being next to you if you're getting a pedicure? I don't like that.
I don't really like men that care that much about their, you know, to that detail about their appearance personally. I'm like, really?
Thank you.
You're really here to get your fingernails done?
Thank you.
I don't like going there myself anyway, but, you know.
But we want a zone of privacy for beautification. Okay, we want to go to your other places. We don't want to see your hairy feet. Sorry,
Thank you, Bluebird. Good to see you, Laura.
Good to see you,
Laura
Martha.
Ingraham in Washington.